Hey everyone, Egman here with another deck profile. This is going to be like the new, this is a kind of a new format for Dragon Ball, or not format, but just like a new deck archetype that like a lot of other card games has. It's the mill format where you try to win the game by stalling out and just making sure your opponent doesn't have any cards in their deck first, and so they can't draw, and so they lose because of that. So really popular in a lot of other card games. This is the first incarnation for it to be in Dragon Ball. I think it's a good time for that because there are a lot of decks that are, really degenerate and like to cycle through their decks really fast. And so like Janemba can help punish those, and it can have good counters against those matchups. And though I don't think it makes the matchups unwinnable, but it makes, your opponent have to think more about how they use their resources and when they should be drawing, if they have the choice to or not. So so let's get into the deck. So the leader, this is like the first. This leader in general is just like super weird on so many ways. But the first is he's the promo from, I think, the Dash Pack. So we've never had a Dash Pack leader, so that's really neat. And then also so you can't include cards with energy cost of 5 or more in your deck, so it has to be 4 or less. It's not 5 or less. If it's 5 or less, it'd be broken with some of the other like Janemba cards you had access to, but it's 4 or less that you can add. When this card attacks, draw 1 card and place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the drop area. So it just mills 2 from their deck. And then when your life is at 4 or less, you may choose up to 2 of your energy, switch to an active mode, and flip this card over. And the other side is pretty much the same thing. When this card attacks, draw 1 card, place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the drop area. And then when this card's attack, you may place 1 blue card from your drop area, or from your hand into your drop area if you do negate the attack and negate the skill for duration of the game. So that is also really good. It just gives like 1 like emergency negate, which could save you the game if they're trying to go in with something. And just being able to have that passive negate is good. Additionally, something that's kind of unique is like these are usually when they have like the attack autos, it's an auto once per turn, but it's just an auto. So if you can untap this leader, this deck list is my friend Joel's deck that I asked for just kind of a bare bones. And he gave me this one. This one's really good, but so I can't think of what the card is that lets you untap your leader. I don't really remember if there is one, and if it does exist, if it costs 4 or more. I know there's the Shenron Wish, but this isn't a Shenron leader, so we can't use it. If you know what I'm talking about, comment below. I'd be really appreciative. But if somehow you're able to untap your leader, you're able to do it again. So you get to mill 2 and draw another one. So that's kind of worth it, I think, in a mill deck. So depending on how much it costs. Anyways, let's get into the cards. So first is the new what is it, Hobby League promo, or however you say it. This Crisis Crusher Son Goku. This is really good against really like aggro decks. So if you have no battle cards in your battle area, reduce the energy cost in your hand by 2. Players can't attack with battle cards with energy cost of 1. And once per turn, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 1 and KO it. So just really good at slowing the game down. Any control deck should be running this for sure. So pretty obvious there. 3 Zeno button. This just lets us untap our energy. We have a lot of options, especially we have, as you can kind of see, we have 8 of the extra super combos in our deck. So that's really good. And we shouldn't be really afraid of decking ourselves out because our opponent should be decking out way faster than we should, so it doesn't really matter in that regard. And we also have, so this is the new, this kind of starts like the Janemba chain, but it's I don't even know, it has Sock Demon rocking out. So when you play this card, choose 1, look up the top 7 of your deck, choose 1 in Janemba among them, add to your hand, and shuffle your deck. Or look at the 1 card at the bottom of your deck, choose up to 1 Janemba card among them, add to your hand, and shuffle your deck. I wish the bottom part didn't say shuffle your deck, because if you just look at the bottom 1, and 9 times out of 10 you do that because you know there's Janemba, I don't think there's really a reason to shuffle your deck. but I understand why it's there. But yeah, so this kind of starts the chain, gets into the Childish Heart Janemba, which I'll mention in a bit. But for negates and kind of defensive cards, 4-dimension magic, this card's really good. If your leader card is blue, negate the attack, then choose up to 2 of your blue energy and switch to active mode. So it's just like a better Wishes Coercion. And then Sparking 5, we can play this by adding a card from our life to our hand too. So just a super good negate to a color that really didn't need another super good negate, but hey, they got it anyway. So for Senzu Bean, this card's really good. Like time and time again, like people put in blue in their deck just so they can play Senzu Bean. So 4 of those, good on defense and good for kind of extending plays as well. 3 Mafuba, which is probably which is a kind of high amount, but we have so much untap and we're trying to be super defensive, so it totally makes sense. Negate the attack and then place this card on the attacking card at the end of your opponent's turn. Place this card in the drop area. So it just pretty much gets rid of a card for a turn, and some cards are really affected by this more than others. So that's why we're playing 3 Mafus, and the 2 energy isn't anything for this deck, so we can flex it in. 4 super combo. This is the 10k always super combo, and then draws a card with Sparking 5. Our drop area is probably going to be pretty full, so no surprise there. We're having 3 Childish Heart Janemba, and it is 3 specific blue, which is really interesting. But you can also evolve for 2 blue on this demon guy. I don't know the lore for Janemba. I'm going to see the movie early next month and get the Gogeta leader, but until then I don't really know the lore. I guess I'll find it out when I see it. But anyways, so after evolving it for 2 blue, by playing another blue, you can choose 1 Janemba card from your deck, send it to your warp, then shuffle your deck, place this card at the bottom of the deck, choose up to 1 Janemba with an energy cost of 4 in your warp and play it. So it's pretty much saying, get the card you want, shuffle your deck, put Janemba on the bottom, and then play it. That's why it has that weird warp thing. But yeah. Then there's and I'm gonna go into like a little practice, like how the chain works kind of thing. But then we also have Deadly Defender Vegeta. It's just a 3-drop Vegito, pretty much. So just good there, good for defense, and just keeping our leader alive. A single Raging Spirit Son Gohan. This card's it's a good card. I don't think, maybe you want to run a flute instead. We have a lot of 10k availability for it from an energy wise standpoint. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think 1. I feel really awkward playing something at 1, but it makes sense. It's a good card. So, and then to our Janembas, there's a Demon Sword one. They're both critical and deflect, and being a critical is really good just for that pressure. But place this active main for this guy. Place this card at the bottom of the owner's deck. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, send it to the owner's warp, and place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck into the drop area. So that's really good. And there's also Reality Bender. This one's actually pretty crazy. So if your opponent has 4 or more energy, there are battle cards in your opponent's battle area, and there are no battle cards in your battle. You reduce the energy cost of this in your hand by 3. And at the end of your turn, place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck and place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the drop area. So something really easy is that you could have this guy. Actually, is there a way? Yeah. Okay. So this guy could be on the bottom of your deck. Then you just play this demon. So you get him for 1, and then you just attack with your leader, something to combo him out, and you can just play him again for 2, and with 2 energy, 1 to find him, 1 to get him out. So that's really good. He's critical deflect, and then he gets to mill another 2. So overall, both of these are just really strong and just kind of push the agenda for this deck really well. So last up, we have 2 of the actual Vegetos. Once this card is super good for defense, and it's been kind of proven again and again. So 2 of those, and then our pseudo super combos as well. 4 of the Cell, and 4 of the Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. So Did it kick me out of my game? Oh, well, okay. There's my password. Don't tell nobody. Alright. No. Find card. So let's get one of each of these guys out. All right, and let's just draw extra cards in our hand, and let's draw another 7. Actually, there we go. All right, so the idea is let's invert these guys. That's not it. Whatever. These are energies. We have, so the idea is we can play him. So we play this guy for 1. We find this guy, play this guy for 2. And even though we can't play anything with more than 4 energy in our deck, we should definitely be having more than, it's definitely not a bad thing to have, go up to 5 or 6 energy if you need it. So we play Childish Heart Janemba, play another one. So we get either one of these 2 out of our deck. So let's say we get this one. So this Janemba goes to our, what's he do? He goes, okay, so this goes to the bottom of our deck. This goes to our drop area. And so we get this guy out. He's critical deflect. We attack into something. They discard 2. Oh, no, not yet. So they just... this goes back to the bottom of your deck at the end of the turn. And then let's say the next turn, we can just play one of him. We can use this ability to look at the bottom 1 card. Oh, how do they do that in this game? Oh, I haven't really tried. Huh. Oh, alright, well we know that this card's at the bottom of our deck. And so we can just get him for 1 and then attack with our leader, combo this away, and then we can just play this guy for 1. And then you get another 2. So you get to drop 4 cards of your opponent's deck and get a couple of attacks in, and you still only use 2 energy. So that's the kind of the point of the deck. And so just some matchups this deck is really good against. This will probably be, so I'm not sure if it will see competitive success, but it definitely has a lot of polarizing matchups. From the current meta, it's really good against Hercule because Hercule uses their deck as a resource, and since you mill their deck out, they are not able to combo as hard and not as often, or if they do combo, they can't get their massive hand advantage that they're known for being really good with, and you're able to defeat them that way. Also against kind of like an aggro swap build, we have so much defensive options that we can kind of deflect their smaller attacks, especially like just having a Sensu Bean is really helpful. If they throw something really threatening out, we just drop him a Fuba. And I don't think this can... There's the negate on the Awakened side. It can't be bad ringed either. It's like a really like unstoppable negate. So if they're trying to if they're trying to swing for game, they'll have to be present of like, oh, this can also be Mafuba, so or this can't be negated, so they have to watch out for that. What else would be? Yeah, just any deck that's really draw heavy. Oh, Mass Saiyan, that was the third one I was thinking of. Mass Saiyan. Mass Saiyan just like loses to this deck because they are already dropping 3 cards from they're wanting to drop 3 cards, and they want to put cards in the drop area for the warp. Additionally, I can think of like if you try like the new Super 17 leader, every time he attacks, you get 3 cards out of your deck, 2 to the drop, 1 to your hand. So your deck becomes really tiny, really fast, and just being able to snowball that away can help you with that. So, and then kind of like in the middle ground is, as I've seen it right now, Wish Leaders kind of, since they have to run the Dragon Balls and all the Dragon Balls draw cards, so they have like 7 less cards in their deck essentially, and there's just a lot of draw in that and kind of rotation. The fact that you can mill can, since they have a smaller deck to work with, it's benefit for that. The downside is you could also mill out Dragon Balls, which means they're closer to Awakening, and that's kind of furthers their agenda too. So that's kind of where it's kind of like in a middle ground. And then anything else that just is kind of like a slower control could probably beat this deck. But yeah, this is Mill Janemba. Let me know what you guys think. If you can think of the untapped leader card that I can't, let me know. Please, it's driving me crazy. And if you have any questions, let me know. And one more thank you, shoutouts to Joel for giving me his deck list so I can show it to you guys. It's in the description as well, but here's what he's been running. If you have any recommendations, please let me know. And that will be it. So I'll catch you guys next time.